Hello everyone out there and in the room. This is Simon, and we are very honored this afternoon to have our reverend guest and teacher Daniel Mitel with us. Daniel, welcome to Hong Kong again.
Thank you.
And with me, I have Dr. Chau, Shan, and we are very grateful for Dreams Possible under our Shan to offer this wonderful, energetic place for this show. Actually, Daniel just arrived in Hong Kong, and well, thanks again for coming. Thank you for gracing our community, and thank you for all your work doing for China. I understand that your next stop will be Beijing.
Yes, Beijing, Shanghai, and then Thailand. Yes.
Wonderful. 2 years ago, I met Daniel for the first time, and I entered his classroom, and he transformed my daughter, and then she transformed me. Well, this afternoon we are here to focus on one topic selected by Shan, and that is spiritual pride. Before we start, actually we launch onto the topic, I would like to take off my hat as a linguistician and transcendentologist. People like us in this profession are extremely sensitive to semantics. Well, for your information out there, the term pride is problematic as far as English-Chinese translation goes. Because in Chinese, pride is always negative.
Yeah.
Wow. But in English, it is neutral, or it can even be positive. We're so proud of you. This is my pride. And it can be quite positive. And so, I would like to start by explaining, perhaps before Shan speaks, that we are talking about the negative kind of pride, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In Chinese, pride, 骄傲, 骄傲, is pretty negative.
Yeah.
Always, it can't be neutral, even to me.
Yeah.
Okay, and so are we actually talking about arrogance or egotism?
Yeah.
Instead of
for me.
pride. Okay, I'll pass it on to Shan.
Okay, thank you.
One word.
Thank you, Simon. Thank you, Daniel. Welcome, everybody. Actually, I prepared my little notes, one full page. So I'd like to start this topic because I proposed to Simon and let's discuss this meaningful topic. For me, pride is everybody's issue because we all have an ego. And I think for me, I think pride is deceptive and indeed self-defeating because I think pride is predicated upon a hierarchical dualism and binarism. So because we gain our confidence by demeaning others and minimizing others, that I'm better than you. And so spiritual pride for me is dangerous because it's often very subtle. The more successful and famous I become, the easier and subtler I become egoistic and arrogant in my spiritual path. So I think as spiritual practitioners, we need to be very mindful because a teacher is merely a role and identity. And no matter how well we perform this role and identity, it can merely become a performance covering our inner fear, vanity, and desire for anything. And so we need to confront our ego, our integrity, our private life, and our ego underneath our outer glamour. So for me, I think ego permeates our entire spiritual life, entire spiritual path. And so for me, whenever I confront my ego, perhaps we need to ask ourselves who is confronting the ego and who is pursuing this spiritual path. Me? Who is the me? Where is the me? What is the me? And who is enlightened? Can I find a me in enlightened? I like this personally. I like the strategy, fake it to make it, because we don't need to be perfect to start our spiritual journey. Indeed, exactly because I think exactly we start our spiritual journey exactly because of our imperfection. So there's no need to be ashamed of our ego and pride in a way. Contrary-wise, I think strategy. I mean, honesty is the best strategy because we are all deceptive in one way or another before we are fully enlightened. And so I think feedback from our students, from our sangha, from our friends, from our spiritual guide, I think is very, very important because we all have our blind spots. And so the danger as a teacher is that the better we proceed, less people dare to give me or give us honest feedback. They tend to adore you, they tend to admire you and romanticize you, whatsoever. And that's why even very, very international, prestigious guru may have scandalous misconduct. So as teacher, we need to be very mindful of our everyday life practice, particularly our little signs of fatigue, of burnout, and desire for fame, for honor, for security, so on and so forth. And Adya Shanti, a spiritual guy I really, really admire, once pointed out that once we have the experience of oneness, once we have the experience of enlightenment, have the experience of awakening, the first thing we tend to do is to attach the me into the experience. I am enlightened. I encounter Buddha. I experience oneness. How nice. I have wonderful spiritual experience. Then who is the I? Who is the me? So I think the pure spiritual experience, which is beyond words and comprehension, now becomes a fixed identity, me and mine. And that's why I propose this topic, spiritual pride. And I hope we can have a meaningful discussion with my very respectable, admirable teacher, Simon and Daniel. And so could you two share your experience or what you think about this topic?
Well, I should be the first one to plead guilty. Period. Okay. So what should I do?
Well, I believe, first, this is a very delicate topic because, and I was talking earlier with Hofan and Akari about this subject. In spirituality, there are no shortcuts. You cannot say, I'm going to buy spirituality. It's impossible. Doesn't matter how much money you have, doesn't matter how much power you have. Spirituality is a completely different field, different topic, different energy. So the moment you realize that there are no shortcuts, you cannot take a pill and become enlightenment, things change. Actually, spirituality is much harder work than if you go to office. Because office, you work, let's say, 8 hours or 10 hours or 12 hours, and then you go home and the spirituality means you have to be 24 hours, 7 days. At that state when you are not just an example for other people, but first you have to be an example for yourself, because the real spiritual people are the best what they do alone. If when you are alone, you do your job, whatever we call spiritual job, then when you go out there, you don't need anything else. You are natural. So pride is it's a big trap in my opinion. I was in South America 2 weeks ago. I was teaching in Chile. And according with Mayans, the Kundalini of Mother Earth changed from Tibet to Chile. Yeah. So the energy is now, and you can stay there in mountains in Chile, and you really feel this energy coming from Mother Earth. And I was talking with so many people there, and I heard so many people suddenly they said, I am a great master. And I asked, who is I? They told me, I realize I'm enlightened and I'm a master, and you could see that pride that we are talking here, hidden, I believe when you arrive at that level, you don't even realize about these things. And actually when I was in Nepal, in Dhulikhel, the masters that were, have light around them and they levitated, I never saw them saying, I am enlightened or I'm a master. For them, it was like drinking water. For us, we think it's an achievement. It's not. It's actually we are born. A child is a master. Then we lose this power. And then all our life we are trying to catch that purity. And when you catch it first time, you have this pride, like I am a master. It's nothing to be, and that might be dangerous, in my opinion. It might bring you to a different path, not the path of enlightenment. It's such a short edge you are walking between becoming God or going to the other side of so you have to be very aware. And this is probably the biggest trap today in 2019 for the whole world, because so much, we have Facebook, we have all this, and suddenly somebody wakes up in the morning and he says, I am a Krishnamurti. Well, you are not Krishnamurti. First, don't try to be Krishnamurti. Be who you are. Be Simon, be Vashan, be Daniel. Have your own personality. Don't try to copy and not try to be somebody else. Just be who you really are. So that was some introduction. So, Simon, it's your turn now. I pass the torch. Like Olympics.
As I said, I plead guilty, and I know that I've been foolish all along up till now. I'm here to be enlightened once more. Yes, I totally agree with you when you say that every child is a master. My cat is a master to me. And we are desperately trying our best to regain what we are born with. And are we saying that we need to do something, spend some efforts to cleanse the kind of pride we accumulate along the life journey?
I would say, first, when we say effort, from my perspective, it's mental. It's when you say effort, it's like work, like something. But in spirituality, this awareness is not something that's easy. It's a sort of work. So you have to be aware when you eat, when you walk, when you sleep, whatever you do, you have to be aware. And from my perspective, it is quite much work you have to put out there, if I can call spiritual work, which means you have to be aware, you have to understand who you really are, as Vashan pointed there. Who is this I? I am, and all this I. When the first thing when a child appears here is a possession. My mom, my dad, my toy, all becomes, the ego started to be formed. It's mine. And later we have my wife, my daughter, all is like possession, which honestly in spirituality, there is not so much possession. The only possession you can say is just, I am light, I am love. That's the only possession you can say in spirituality. So I would say you raise a good point. We need to work, but in a different way than normally people think what is working. But it's still a hard work because you wake up in the morning, you meditate, or you do your day, you program in a way you program the day, you see from your heart, you create from your heart that beautiful day. And following that creation in the morning, during the day, that might be a little bit challenging.
Yes, please. Yeah, I fully share and agree with Daniel. There's no shortcut in spiritual path, and spiritual pursuit. And I think this issue is particularly acute and relevant in Hong Kong because we have a deep yearning for spiritual enlightenment, partly because for the last 1 or 2 decades in Hong Kong, I think the materialistic pursuit and achievement is doomed. It's so frustrating. The socio-political, social environment in Hong Kong is so frustrating. So many people feel so desperate. The sense of helplessness and hopelessness is very profound in Hong Kong now. And so lots of people turn to, and also institutionalized religion is losing their traditional high-sounding charm and ground. And so more and more people nowadays are turning from institutionalized religion towards non-religious spirituality. And it's very amazing, very cheerful, and also very dangerous because I think it can be a cover for our materialistic frustration, for cover up our fear on lots of issues. And so I fully agree that I think mindfulness is truly important, no matter what stage our spiritual pursuit is in, because it's so subtle. Our self-deception is so subtle. And I so agree with Daniel just now that the attachment to the me and mine, my clothes, my girlfriend, my boyfriend, my DP, whatsoever, is so subtle. And that's why I think I highly esteem feedback from my friends, and I highly esteem whenever I feel discomfort, whenever I have emotions, I think it is the best time for our transformation. I think it's the best time. That's why I really promote and really like adversity gratitude, because adversity, so-called bad times, is never accidental. It's the best manifestation of our pride, of our expectation, of our ego, and so and in a way it makes a little difference whether you're a spiritual teacher or just a beggar. We all have our ego and have our pride, and so don't mistaken our outer performance as our inner peace. And I fully agree that I think inner peace is for me is a crucial demarcation. It's a very sharp and marker to reveal our actual situation. So I think I don't know what to say, but anyway, I think especially in Hong Kong nowadays, BMS, body, mind, spirit, sun-something is flourishing within the last 1 decade. I think partly because of the materialistic frustration and socio-political frustration. So many people want to be a spiritual teacher, want to be a spiritual trainer, because the mundane everyday life is so depressing. Unbearable, in a way, yes. So I think it's very important. That's why I'm so grateful that Dr. Simon Chau, be the chairman of the BMSP Sunset Pingtai, Body, Mind, Spirit platform, because I think it's utterly crucial that as spiritual teachers, as trainers, we are always being criticized as we-want-one, as unprofessional, unscientific, as wishy-washy, which is true in a way. And so I think we need to really strengthen our integrity, strengthen our due diligence, our benchmark, because in this field of profession, it's so unique, because is quite unlike many other architect, engineer, accountant, whatsoever. We have no benchmark. We have no association. We have no certificate, no accreditation, nothing. Whenever, whoever you dare to come out to become a trainer, you become a trainer. You are a trainer already. So it can be very dangerous. And in a way, the spiritual market is now very loose and very, I don't know what to say. But anyway, so I think it's really good. And that we need to have more reflection on our status, on our position as a so-called spiritual teacher. Yeah.
Well, actually, I'm very grateful that Daniel reminded us once more that there's a very thin line to be drawn between, the okay side and the disastrous side. I think I can speak for many of us when I say, well, this is a kind of an internal struggle for people like us. Now, on the one hand, I have to remind myself repeatedly, every day, I'm okay, I'm very okay. I don't need anything else. I'm satisfied. I'm brilliant. I'm doing good job. I'm on the right way, and so on and so forth. And I love myself. But the thin line is there in the sense that it's extremely easy to become proud in the bad sense, arrogance, egoistic, and the me comes in. So, what advice do you have for us?
Well, the best advice is, and I'm coming what Shan said a couple of seconds ago, related with people that they become teachers, right? They overnight, body, mind, spirit, they have the experience and they become teacher. A lot of my friends and students, they want to quit their job too. Yeah. And I'm telling that, don't do it. Yeah. Do your job, whatever you are. Yeah. You are a financial advisor, you are a doctor, you are a professor, but do it from your heart. You don't need to quit your job, You might help more people actually, where you are there. Then you go in this is a big trap. You want to quit your job and you want to become a great master, full-time great master. But it's not working like that, You have to do your, and that's the lesson that humanity doesn't understand. The biggest great masters, they continued, if you read about in history, the masters, they used to continue doing their daily job. They took care of their children, their friends, and so on. But in the same time, they were men and women of God. And actually, this is now spirituality. It's I saw a report from Financial Times. It's a business of around 50 billions per year. It became one of the biggest business. So a lot of people now, they want to teach meditation, they call emotional intelligence and so on, but it's still the spiritual part. So my advice is for all my friends, because they said I have this call and I want to become a great master. It's not working like that. It's you have to arrive at that stage when you just, in a normal way, you go from, let's say, material world to spiritual world. But still, even if, as a master, you still have to buy bread, you have to buy food, you need to pay the water, the electricity. So you are still in this world, so you have to be aware of this world. You cannot just quit and say, from tomorrow I am great master, but you have to give me. It's not working like that. Because people, they expect somebody, when they think when you become a master, somebody else will just give because you are a master. And this is a pride actually. You expect other people to give to you because you are a master. It's not like that. Actually, if you are a real master, you should give more than you receive. You receive one I love you, you should send back 1,000,000 I love you. This is the real mastery. It's not an accumulation. You are just filtering the information and you give it back. That's a real mastering.
I fully agree with Simon and Daniel. Thanks for your inspiration. I really love the statement, charity starts at home. Because I think the most difficult part about spirituality is to stay ordinary. And for me, I think authentic spirituality express itself and oneself through mundane everyday life. So for me, spirituality is not something somewhere I achieve. It's not a destiny. It's not a goal. There's no way to go. No place to go. No destiny to achieve. The only destiny for me is the here and now. So start from where I am. Start from here and now. And always stay in the here and now. Because it's so easy, especially in Hong Kong, it's so target-oriented. And there are so many achievements, so many projects keep on day for night. And so we are easily carried away into this achievement model. And I'm a typical example, actually. And so, so it's crucial to remind ourselves where I'm going. Because I always have more higher, better spiritual pursuit and performance. So in a way, no difference from money pursuit and sex pursuit and addiction for money, sex, or relationships. Now addiction for enlightenment. Still the me and my game, ego trip, the me. So I think it's a very good reminder. Yeah.
Well, can I now cite one real life example?
Please.
And as a case study. And we are going into something extremely personal, and that's me. Now, this week,
yes,
this very
please.
week, you've been to our shop. What's the name of my shop? Okay. There's a struggle going on inside me and in the shop, in the sense that we are trying to find our direction. Namely, is this Simon's shop? How much of it is Simon's shop?
Okay.
You know, naturally, when I started the whole idea 6 years ago, it was kind of 100% my vision. I kind of imagined the whole thing, and you know, I bought the chairs, I bought the tables, I set up the air con system.
You painted all the place.
Painted, you know, every inch very Simon. And now, when my team gets momentum and they become mature, it's time to let go. In a sense that, you know, I imagine myself, a few years ago, we have a new general manager. She's in charge of the team, and I told her, now, this is my aeroplane. You are now the pilot. I sit at the last row next to the toilet. Okay.
You jump.
Well, I eat whatever you serve everyone, and you know, and if the plane explodes, well,
I will be on the plane.
I'll be on the plane, exactly. And I'm not going into the pilot's place anymore, the pit anymore. Now, if you don't need me, I'm at the back. Okay. And so their demand is, now, look, boss, this is not your shop. You hire us to do the work, and our work is to make your dream come true. Tell us your dream and let us do it our way, and you stay at the back. Well, I said, okay. I know it's a very big challenge. I kind of step out of my comfort zone, and I tried my very best not to intervene. I tried not to say anything, and then there are obviously things that turn up that I don't feel like, one way or the other, on one level or another. And what happened was, 3 days ago, they kind of reached the limit of my tolerance. And I said, stop! I can't stand that. If you don't make this correction, well, in a kind of something in a shop, I won't come back. If I come back, I won't be able to perform. Since there is, well, that was yesterday morning. I said, since we are going to have an event tonight, either you remove that thing, or please book another place, and let's do it somewhere else. I can't perform as long as, well, you set this up. You see what I mean? I keep reminding them of Pavarotti, the singer. We notice that Pavarotti, every time he comes on stage, he has a kind of a, what do you call it, a napkin. The little thing. What's the name for it? Napkin?
The white napkin for the suits, yeah.
Okay, that thing. He told everyone that he can't sing without that thing here. And the story goes something like this. When he was 11, when he first came on stage, it was a gift from his teacher or something like that. And it's a kind of something sacred for him. And he needs that for his self-confidence. And personally, well, I'm not a performer of that caliber, but I still feel the kind of energy or emotion are quite similar to this. I have been to several locations, including Dreams Possible, and there were times that the energy didn't go right, and I kind of went off my mind. I can't perform. Well, that was my excuse, and now they have reached the limits of my toleration. Now, is this an ego? I promised them not to,
interfere.
Yeah. So, well, actually, we solved the problem yesterday night, yesterday afternoon before the event. But so where am I? Is it arrogance?
I'm actually very touched. As Simon, you are so courageous and so authentic to share your vulnerability. I think what is vulnerable is what is beautiful. And I think spiritual path is about exposing and confronting our vulnerability. That's it. And so I'm really touched by you really walk the talk and expressing or showing the best example of spiritual practice in confronting the whole world, forbidding people walking. You're sharing the story. For me, I would say I like what you say just now. Is touching or almost overriding your limits of tolerance. My response is, whose tolerance? By whom's definition, whom's criteria? Who is the Simon, or who is the person that has tolerance? What if this person don't treat this so-called limits of tolerance as the how should I put it? As okay, Dickens in the Tales of Two Cities, the first page, first paragraph, first sentence. This is the worst of all times. This is the best of all times. That's it. This is times when Dr. Simon Chau, my adorable on-the-road teacher, who for the last 2 years, you have achieved so much. Perhaps it's the time for you having more profound breakthrough, the total destruction of the ego. That's it.
Well, that's a good experience. Thank you for sharing with us. I will still believe that you've done a really good job there, so you should still keep an eye on that place, because it's so good for Hong Kong people and so powerful. And I love experiments. I do a lot of experiments in my life, and sometimes in a way you pay a price. In a way you feel sometimes, you reach that level of tolerance or level of resisting and keeping inside of you all this energy. But I believe each experiment, and this, I think for you it's an experiment. I always admire Simon. He is like a child. He likes playing. So I think this is one of your games that you like to see and to, and the fact that you speak about like an observer, like you see from outside, that's a big thing. Because all the time when we are involved in this situation, as Shan said, you feel I am inside of this issue. But in fact, when you arrive at the stage to see the situation like you see a movie, it's not you. It is Simon speaking with other people, and you are like an actor, and you arrive at this stage and you could see this. That's a big thing. So basically, in a way, just doing that, you answer the question, So
at this point, how much do we owe you as a company doctor?
I think it's not easy for every one of us whenever we encounter our own emotions and vulnerabilities. So I think it's really good that because we really feel angry, we really disturbed, we feel minimized, we feel not being respected as the owner of the shop, as the founder of this operation, as the founder of the entire enterprise. I don't feel really respected. And so it's really good. It's exactly what spiritual practice is about, right? Otherwise, there's no point. Just pursue the materialistic ego, that's it. And I would like to quote again my teacher's quotation, which I love so much. The meaning of life is not to win, but to lose. Until someday you have nothing more to lose, then you are free. And so I really, I'm so happy that Simon, you share this publicly. I think it's truly courageous, truly authentic, and I admire you. And I really encourage Simon to grasp this golden opportunity as the best way to turn inward rather than go outside. Because it hits your ego, it hits the me. Just keep on asking, who is the me being disturbed? Where is it? What's it about? Then perhaps transformation will happen right away. Anyway, just my 5 cents.
Well, before we end this case study, I should publicly acknowledge a credit, and that is my life coach. And she's called Dr. Red Chen. She did all the magic yesterday afternoon. Case closed. Well, we have a few minutes left.
Yeah, we have 5 minutes.
So,
can you do the closing?
Well, I'm really happy to be here first. Last week I was teaching in Canada, in Toronto, and somebody told me actually, are you going to meet again that two scholars? You are the scholars. That two wise men? I said, yes, sure, I'm going to meet them in Hong Kong. And this lady said, I really love when you are all three together and you speak about these things. She said it's like a sort of spiritual opera talk show.
We are doing a trio.
So it's a very good thing we are all together and we share this. And this subject is indeed delicate, the spiritual pride. I'm teaching from 1981 all over the world, and I saw so many situations that people, really good people, they got in this trap, and it's really eating you inside. And from the spiritual pride, we have all the words, all these things. You know, I am a Christian, I am Muslim, I am Jewish, this is spiritual pride, right? It's also a religious pride, you know. Yeah. And this is, my opinion, this is very dangerous because it's a sign that we are not yet at that stage. We are still fighting for these small things, and we really have to be aware. So very important subject. Thank you from all my heart for talking this.
So, Daniel, can you talk what you're going to teach or talk 2:30 and 7:30? Because you have two more sections today. Can you share something more about this?
So 2:30 we are going to have a very interesting topic.
Teaching from the heart.
Teaching from the heart.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bring the 7 principles that the teacher of the heart usually they follow. And it's going to be a very interesting subject. And in the evening, we have, as usually, some imagery, powerful exercises. So it's a very good day, I would say, full day for all of us. So I'm very happy for all of you being here.
Just a few hours after landing.
So I'm good.
Okay, and I would like to thank you, Hofan. Hofan, could you please come out to show us on the camera? Because Hofan is the one who, at the back end, organizing everything that makes everything possible. And the team. And the entire team. So let's have a big hand for Hofan and Daniel and Daniel. So we have another section by Daniel, 15 minutes later. So somebody have a closing?
I close by thanking Daniel again and again for blessing this place, blessing our community, and lighting up our lives again.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everybody. Thank you. Daniel. Okay, bye bye. Bye bye. Oh, bye bye.